G'day guys, this is Chris, and today I want to share something that's really dear to me and that I really love talking about, and that's energy. Energy has been, for some reason, separated from the mainstream of human development, leadership, or business development, or relationships and love. But really, it's at the core of it all. And this very simplistic model that I've created today is the basis of a lot of what I do with people around the world. I am not going to try today to overcomplicate it, but I do want to celebrate and share it with you. You know, when a person flicks their heart open, sometimes it's for the purpose of venting energy. Did you know that? Did you know that we carry around a lot of baggage and emotional charges and judgments and make a stand on things because we have too much energy and we just don't know how to hold on to it, don't know how to store it. So even if you go out into the universe, you'll see the laws of nature that we talk about here are expressed, and they are expressed in no clearer and better way than in the 4 steps of store, build, stop loss, and direct energy. I hope you enjoy this. If you do, share it around. Bye for now. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Chris, and today, lucky you, we're talking about something that I absolutely believe is the single most important thing in the humanity of existence, and that is energy. And this energy is sort of a topic that people leave off the agenda of human development because they isolate it and say that it's what's the word for it? It's a separate topic to leadership, or it's a separate topic to love, or it's a separate topic to romance, or it's a separate topic to financial management, or it's a separate topic to going to the gym, but it's not. There are 4 elements and I want to explain why. There are 4 elements of energy. First one is to build it. The second one is to store it. The third one is to stop losing it. And the fourth one is to direct it. And I'm going to go through each one of these today in this sketchpad conversation and see how we go. Building energy. The only way I can describe building energy is it's identical to putting petrol in the tank of a car. So here's me, Mr. Sunshine, having a lovely day, driving down the road. Here's my beautiful, gorgeous Rolls Royce. Here's my passengers. They're all happy. And there's a tank of petrol in the back, or a battery if you want to be electric car. And that battery is fully charged. It's got, let's say, 100 megawatts of power, or 100 litres of petrol, and you're driving down the road, and there's a little pedal down here called the accelerator. You got your foot on the accelerator, and away you go. Boom, boom, down the road you go. But have you ever had the experience of going up a hill in a car? God, I'm bad at drawing cars, aren't I? Going up the hill, it's a little soft-top car, going up a hill in a car that has very little petrol in the tank. Yeah, you have. And you're going, I know there's a petrol station down the other side of the hill, but the car's going up and up, and you slow down and slow down and slow down and slow down. So when we don't have a lot of petrol in our tank, when this tank that we've filled up here is feels like it's on empty, then we start to drive slower, and we become more fearful, we become more careful, we become more risk averse, we become more spooked. So the first part of this conversation about building energy is to make sure that we start every single day, start the day with a full tank. Now, What does a full tank of petrol look like? Gratitude, presence, certainty, and love. Those are the 4 things that build your fuel tank, that charge your battery. And we can say gratitude is a state of mind. Presence you can get through exercise. Certainty you get through visioning the future. And love, well, the way I introduce it is through going out and connecting with nature. So the building of the battery is this, the building up of energy is an exercise in life in itself. But what can happen if you build energy but you don't have the self-worth to store it? So we store energy by being calm, centered, and balanced. So balanced, centered, calm, these 3 words are how I've described to people. Balanced, centered, calm is exactly how you store fuel. Now, how you store fuel in your body, if you build it, step 1, build, and then step 2 is to store it. Your storage capacity for fuel is based on one topic and one topic alone, self-worth. Now, we've just recently gone through a video where I drew a diagram like this and said, this is your self-worth, and this is your self-esteem, and this is your self-esteem. And it's really important to understand the difference between self-esteem and self-worth. And self-worth can grow. We can have a pyramid. We know our self-worth can be here, or it can be here. And we know that we have 7 pyramids. I'm not going to draw them all, you'll die of boredom, but we have 7 pyramids. We can have, in a relationship, we can have high self-worth. In business, we can have low self-worth. In financial, we can have high self-worth. In mental, we can have low, and think of ourselves as really stupid, have low self-worth. So this whole thing about self-worth becomes the averaging of a series of spirals. Now, you've seen these spirals of self-esteem, and self-worth before. You've seen them. And I'll tell you where you've seen them. And that's a really exciting thing to know. You've seen them when you look at NASA photographs and you see galaxies. And what you see in a galaxy is exactly what I've drawn. You see the left hand and the right hand of God. You see self-esteem, self-worth, the center of a galaxy. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to say that everything that I say when I work with you is based on the laws of nature. And the law of nature means if you go out into the galaxy, into the universe, if you go back into the moon, if you look at the earth, if you look at an ant, if you look at the cell of a human body, you will find exactly the same law. The law of self-worth, self-esteem. This is plus, plus, plus. This is minus, minus, minus. And we repeat this over and over again. And that's why it's so cool to use the universal laws of nature for your life, because these things are constant. So building up your self-worth builds up how willing you are to, if you build it, if you get it right, building energy, then you can store it. But what happens if you build energy, you do all the right things, you follow all the teachings, you go to the gym, you go for a walk, you go to the park, you build your energy, you eat the right foods, you have a vision, you have your purpose, you have gratitude, presence, certainty, and love, GPCL, you have your shit together, building energy, but you don't have the self-worth to store it. Well, that's exactly the same as pumping up a bike tire or a car tire with a bike pump, and pumping it up and pumping it up and pumping it up until it gets a bubble. And when it gets a bubble, there's 2 choices. Blow, which is called have a fit of depression or exhaustion, it's stress or a breakdown or get ill, or vent. Now, venting which is our inability to stop the loss. So stopping the loss of energy is a really important topic because we vent our energy. Now, here's some ways that we vent our energy. We fidget. We eat. Yep, eating occupies the blood in the tummy and therefore consumes energy. We fidget, we eat, we drink, because that is another way of venting energy that we haven't got the self-worth to store. We get distracted. We're looking around all the time. We're looking around all the time. We go to the gym and just burn fuel for no real purpose. We do sex just for the sake of venting, letting go some energy, because we can't hold on to it ourselves. We feel like we've got to release it as soon as we build it. We get emotional, which means and typically we're at the bottom of the pyramid. We go to the bottom of the pyramid and start getting frustrated, angry, fearful, sad, disappointed. We go to the bottom and start venting energy in emotion. Now, that word emotion is called energy in motion. And it's really important to realize that the word emotion means energy in motion. The energy of emotion is going sideways across life. Instead of going upwards towards love and inspiration and planning and values, instead of going up and down, emotion goes backwards and forwards. And actually, for every plus, we go, oh, look what I've done. There's a minus, oh, shit, look what I've lost. And so there's a lot of people who think emotion is life, but actually emotion is your purpose. Emotion can be converted, instead of spending it, venting it. In emotion, you can hold on to it and use that energy to drive your life force forward. So you can see a lot of people are absolutely experts in venting energy. They cannot hold on to energy. They vent it. And that's really, really, really one of the most important things in leadership development and personal development, where it becomes one topic, and life development and relationship development is to stop the loss of energy, because most people consume enough fuel in one day to run a city. They could drive a ship, an ocean tanker, an aircraft carrier down through Sydney Harbour. They build enough energy to run the world, but they don't have the self-worth. They don't have the self-respect, self-worth. So they end up in self-esteem, and they end up venting, like blowing off steam, like a boiler exploding, like a car tire exploding. Instead of being at self-worth and rising up in life, they vent backwards and forwards in self-esteem, and they blow that energy out the window. So we must, as a part of ethical human development, help people rise up the consciousness cone so they don't spend their life venting this beautiful energy that they built. They got an option. They can store it or they can vent it. So they can finally, and the last but not least piece of this jigsaw is direct their energy. So if you build, let's just talk about your car again. If you put 100 litres in your car of petrol and you're going down the road and the car doesn't leak petrol, you can store it. In other words, it's got a great storage system. You'll be able to direct the car wherever you want to go. You'll be able to drive with your foot on the accelerator to the exact amount that you think is necessary. But if there's a leak in the car and you drive erratically, or you waste it, you go in the wrong direction, or you lose track, or you go in the opposite direction to where you want to go, you don't get to direct it. It actually comes back and bites you. So empty tank. Now, one thing that's really unique about coaching is I attract in my coaching, and if you're one of my clients and you're watching this, you know you're one of these people. I attract people who have incredible stores of energy. I don't have one single client in 40 years who doesn't have at least 3 to 10 times the amount of energy that the average person in the world does. So I think most of my clients know how to fill their petrol tank. However, I have a lot of people who don't know how to store it and therefore want to end up venting it, or have a leaky tank and they're actually spending a lot of time doing things to make that leak bigger, like meditate, like get angry, like look at changing themselves, or blame, or be a victim, or fidget all the time, or be obsessed with the gym, or be doing things that are just a total waste of time in order to vent out this beautiful store of energy. Because someone told them once upon a time that this beautiful, amazing amount of energy they've got has no value. So they didn't get the strong enough self-worth, strong enough sense of disciplines in their life to store it. But everybody in the world wants to direct energy. So a nervous person who is venting energy makes other people nervous. So if you're venting energy, if you're emotional, if you're fidgeting, if you're going to the gym too much, if you're exhausted all the time, if your mission in life is to vent energy, that makes other people nervous, which means it goes back and says, gee, I'm exhausted, I need more. And then the obsession becomes building more energy. But we don't need more energy. We just need to know how to build that energy here, store it, and direct it, instead of build the energy here, vent it, and then wonder why we've got an empty tank when it comes to doing the work we love, or the thing we love, or building the business we love, or building the sport we love, because we've spent most of that energy, we've been like an aeroplane. And a great example of this is, if you've heard much about, here's my beautiful picture of an aeroplane. I've drawn these since I was a kid. That's me up there, happy days. And there's the door of the aeroplane, and here's the little wheels. It's quite good, eh? And oh yeah, the engine. So, some windows. Put some windows in the aeroplane. A good aeroplane takes off with a full tank of fuel. The fuel's in the wings. Good aeroplane takes off with a full tank of fuel. And it's got wheels to land and all these things. But if the aeroplane's going to have a crash landing, it dumps fuel out of the wings. It dumps fuel in the sky so that when it crashes, it doesn't catch fire. Well, many people dump fuel all day so they don't catch fire, because they think this fuel, this energy they have, is not beautiful. They think it's not worthy of love. They just can't work out why in the hell they've got this passion, this drive, this goal, this vision, and other people don't. And everybody else is saying, dump your fuel, come out and hang out with me, be an emotional basket case, waste your time at the gym building up big muscles that have no value. Go to yoga classes over and over, purifying yourself, to waste energy, to sit and meditate so you vent your energy in worry and anxiety and jealousy and stress and frustration. Oh no. Really, you are the pilot of an airplane. It does have a fuel tank. It is full every day. You get the choice to practice the ability to sit in a meeting with people and store that energy, or you get the ability to vent it. And ultimately, that will determine one major quality, and that is how hard you put your foot on the accelerator of life. And if you think your tank needs to be emptied, you'll take your foot off the accelerator and try and find other things to occupy your life. The 4 substitutes when we take our foot off the accelerator are greed, sex, food, and spirituality. They're called the 4 substitutes. This is the stomach substitute. This is the self-esteem substitute. This is the self better than other substitute, the escapism. And greed, well, that's the worst one of all, because this is control. And greed causes a person to operate in fight-flight. And greed causes a person to be poor, to be a wealthy, poor person. So I hope this has really given you some insight as how to do the 4 most important things in human development. Build, store, stop loss, direct.